Welcome back to Amazing Milestones. Today we pick up from our last episode on feeding problems and jump ahead to feeding solids. Very important, but really very interesting, because when you think of it, when your baby hits this milestone and all of a sudden is able to grasp small objects in his hand and understand how to bring them to his mouth, well, there is a whole new world of flavors and textures and shapes that is about to open up for him. But does this new skill necessarily mean that his system is ready for solid food? And if so, how do you make that transition while maintaining balanced nutrition? I have no idea, but I do know someone who does know, and we're gonna go meet him. His name is Dr. DaCosta, and he is gonna tell us how and when to transition to solid food. Hello, Dr. DaCosta.
Hi, Tara. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
How do you feel?
I feel great, actually. I'm really...
Do you have any burning questions for me?
I do. I actually was really looking forward to talking to you today about this subject. So let me start. When can I start giving solids to my baby?
Well, listen, this is one of the banes of the existence of most parents because
Really?
they're so anxious about where to start these solid foods and when. The evidence has shown us that somewhere between 4 and 6 months is the best time to start. Prior to that, the baby's swallowing mechanisms are not developed, motor skills are not at the level where they can sit straight, sit up on their own, their head is usually a little floppy, and they can't really grasp objects easily to help themselves or push away from foods they don't like. So that's probably the best time. Furthermore, somewhere around 4 months of age is when your iron stores start to deplete a little bit. So one would want to start iron-rich foods. If a mother is formula feeding, then you want to have an iron-rich formula, which most of them are now.
Okay. And what food should I start with when?
I have this nice little mnemonic that I use that parents find really useful. It's called CVFM, like a radio station.
CVFM,
Exactly.
I can remember that.
And
Okay.
if you want to start and progress up, start with the cereals, and then you move on to the veggies, the fruits, and the meats.
And are there foods that are considered bad that I should avoid?
That's a really good question. There are two parts to the subject. There's one that includes allergies, and there's one that includes mechanical danger. We have to be very careful on the mechanical side that we don't have a lot of foods with skin on them, grapes, whole nuts. We don't want to have little carrots, cauliflower, things that can choke the baby.
Okay.
Second part of it is the allergic part of it. What foods do we avoid? That's the other part to your question. There's been a lot of information about starting kids on foods that are void of nuts, shellfish, peanuts, various types of dairy products, cow's protein, till 1 or 2 or 3 years. We don't have the evidence anymore to say that one should avoid them, except in families that have a highly allergic risk.
And when I start introducing solids into my baby's diet, can I expect my baby to sleep more at night?
Well, chances are that your baby will sleep better once they have a little more regularity to the way their food is going in. So it's more likely that after 4 to 6 months, your baby will probably sleep better at nights, and they don't really have to feed at night either. Under 4 months, people have tried solids thinking that they're going to sleep better at night. That's where you're going to be in the next 4 months. There's no evidence to suggest that works. And like I mentioned earlier, it may be damaging to the baby to start under 4 months.
Understood. And lastly, do you think I should prepare my own baby food or buy jarred baby food?
Listen, mothers have asked me that question all the time because they want to be natural, they want to be in control of what's going into their baby. And in that context, with certain considerations, you're probably well advised to do what you prefer to do, which is to make your own purees. Cereals, of course, can come ready-made and you can use that, but you can actually mince down and puree your veggies, fruits, and meats. It gives you more control over what you're putting in. It's more labor-intensive. You can maybe bond with your husband once a month and puree everything in sight and put it into ice cube containers, and when you go out with the girls, he can take a cube or 2 out for the baby. However, for convenience, sometimes you might want to have some of the other things. You might want to have store-bought things. Pick the ones that are lowest in sugar, lowest in saltiness, because the baby tends to acclimatize to those and won't want your own food afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And it can be a risk for later in terms of other health issues. I think it's a choice that you make, and I have a feeling that you might want to do the first thing because I know you're a very natural mom.
Thank you, Dr. DaCosta. That was a wealth of information. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Have fun with this pregnancy.
Thank you. Lots of good information and tips on the transition to solid food. Today's episode was all about what your baby should eat. Next time, we are going to be talking about what you should eat during pregnancy for a healthy and happy baby. Until then, I am Tara, and this is Amazing Milestones.